Hey, Chris Lipe here with the Recording Revolution. Do what I'm about to talk about every time before you enter into a mix session. Don't let yourself not do it. It is so simple, and it's part of a ritual that I make myself participate in so that my ears are fresh, the most fresh that they can possibly be. I picked up on this years and years ago when I was actually at a series of live concerts. I always wear earplugs when I go to a show because I want to save my hearing, because I use my ears for my job. And so I would put my earplugs in, and then I'd get used to them. And then I would I would forget that they were in after a little while, even though I had left the venue, even though I'd maybe gotten in my car, I was talking to other people. And then it turned into this thing like, you know what? I'm going to start leaving my earplugs in for a while, just because I like the way it makes me feel. I can kind of come down from this concert experience and have this bit of introspection because I'm sort of closed in my own head. Well, what I noticed when I started doing that on a regular basis was that when I would take my earplugs out, I'd saved my hearing from the concert, but because I'd left them in for sometimes an hour after the concert, my mind and my ears had adjusted to the low dB level and the hearing protection. So when I took my earplugs out, I felt this sense of restoration. This sense also that I could hear in an extra nuanced way the things around me. The music in my car on the drive home felt great, sounded great. My high end wasn't compromised. My brain had not adjusted to the fact that I'd been closed up in my own head and that I'd had this artificial dampening of particularly higher frequencies. And so when I took the earplugs out, there was this sense of, cool. So I started experimenting with this before I'd go to mix. I would get all my tracking done and make sure that everything was done tracking-wise. And you know, of course, there's little mix-as-you-go sorts of things as you track. But when I had a mix session, I would put these basic foam earplugs in a half an hour before I was going to mix. And I just go about doing other things that didn't have anything to do with mixing. You know, I'd do some dishes, or I'd exercise a little bit, or I'd have a meal or whatever, all with these earplugs in, and just sort of get used to that closed off feeling. And then when I went to mix, I would take my earplugs out, throw on a few reference mixes in my studio space at a reasonable volume level. And I'm telling you, this has helped me go into mixes with fresh ears, with a almost somewhat hyped high end, because my mind is getting used to the fact all over again. And there's like this muscle confusion thing that goes on. And it keeps me from overcorrecting my high end. It helps me to hear nuances and placements in the mix with a very fresh set of ears. Our bodies adapt, and even our hearing adapts very quickly. And it's very easy to have ear fatigue that you don't even know you have creep in during the day. And then when you go to mix, you're already mixing from a fatigued standpoint. Not cool. So this earplug reset, half an hour, sometimes an hour before you go to enter a mix session, helps you to enter in with fresh ears. I wanted to give you the backstory, and I wanted to give you sort of the process that I came to and why this is so useful to me. But it's so simple. Throw a cheap pair of earplugs in half an hour to an hour before you're going to enter a mix session, and pay attention to what it does. Just try it and see what happens. And leave it in the comments below if you haven't tried this before, and let me know what it did for you. I'd love to get the discussion going a bit more. Again, if you'd like more help with your own recording techniques, mindsets, you like stuff like this that's a little bit more unconventional, click the link below and join my free recording course. I'll work with you with recording acoustic guitars, electric guitars, arranging, bass, working with drum loops, especially vocal arranging. I'll also help you set up your space. We'll see you there, and we'll see you for more.